Hi, welcome to BNTV. I'm editor Tris Dixon and I'm today joined by the CEO of Hennessy Sports, Mick Hennessy. So Mick, just announced the signing of James DeGale. Exciting times.
Really exciting times. And there's, there's not a lot gets me excited in this sport now, Tris. So I'm really, really looking forward to the future. I've got great plans for James, and I know I'm going to really enjoy. I'm really going to enjoy the process. I love being around him and his team. We've been having a great laugh, and it's an enjoyable experience, and that's what's important to me now.
Do you have hard feelings towards those guys?
Not really. I mean, look, I was shocked by Darren Barker. To be fair, I was really shocked. I thought we had a lot more going. I thought it was a more of a personal thing, really. I was really shocked by that situation. I'm not going to lie. I really liked his family. Yeah, he's got a great family. No, I don't. Hatred's a strong word. No, I don't really. John Murray, I just think he had. For me, with what they've done with his career, I think they had idiots blowing in his ear, and I think he was pretty simple around the situation.
Switching back to Fury just briefly, I've noticed on his Twitter feed he's been very vocal about David Haye. Is that a fight that you'd entertain for him?
It is. I would entertain that. We'd make it pretty quickly as well. So it's a fight I believe he wins, and wins in style. I think David struggles with big fighters, tall fighters, and the shape Tyson's in, and the way he's using his jab at the moment, I mean, it's like a piston. It's just fantastic. I believe Tyson wins that fight, and we'd make that fight, and that would be. Can you imagine how big that would be? It'd be incredible.
Would you make that fight for next summer or Christmas? I mean, how soon would you be happy to take on a David Haye?
Listen, Tyson said he'd like it for December 1st, but you couldn't. You need more time to promote a fight like that. That's a mega fight. We'd do it in the spring.
Is that the sort of fight where you could use Channel 5 and all the things they can facilitate the interview channels or the interview shows and that kind of stuff, and then you put on pay-per-view on prime time? Can you work like that?
Yes, that's a strong possibility for a fight like that. We could look to combine everything and maximise revenues so that everyone's looked after.
Tell me, I mean, there was a lot of talk about Tyson and David Price. Obviously, it went out to purse bids. Fight didn't happen. A lot of people saying Tyson swerved it. I mean, did you guys duck David Price?
Listen, that was my decision, and Tyson respects my opinion and my decision. For me, Tyson had the highest profile for any fighter, in our country, bar David Haye. He was retired at the time. He had the highest profile. It was all about building his profile. He had a high ranking. David Price had only had a handful of fights. He never had any world ranking to talk about. He never had any profile, which I found amazing after, having a bronze medal at the Olympics and then being a pro for however many years, 3 or 4 years. He didn't really have a profile, in my opinion. So it was kind of like, for me, it was a no-brainer. We needed to build Tyson, to work on his ratings and to get him in with world-class fighters, which we're looking at now.
We've obviously just had the Olympics. You've just signed James. Are there going to be any more signings to the stable?
If I'm looking for top quality fighters. I've had a few approaches from fighters that were on the GB squad, and I'm looking into them at the moment. I'm thinking about it. I'm not going to rush into anything, because at the end of the day, it's a hell of a decision. It's even taking a kid from the Olympics, taking a top class amateur, it's a long road. It could take up to, with niggles, with injuries, with setbacks in their life or whatever, it can take sort of like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. It's a real big commitment, and it's the time. I've got to I've been burnt by them situations before in the past, and I've got to be really careful about who I take on, And the most important thing for me is that I need to trust them and I need to like them. It's not about talent now. The talent's got to be there, but that's not my priority because of what's happened to me in the past.
You've pulled a couple of rabbits out of the hat. The Channel 5 deal, I think, came pretty much from nowhere. You've now got De Gale added to your stable, but the times have been really hard. I mean, what have you learned about boxing during those hard times?
I've learned that you can meet some of the very best people in life that you'll ever come across through boxing, but you can also meet some of the very worst people. And I've also learned that when you're up, when you're in a great position, you know, everyone wants to be on board. You're the greatest. You're this, you're that. But as soon as, you know, the floor falls through, you know, there's only you know, a few people you can trust and rely on.
Before the Channel 5 thing happened, I mean, were you close to quitting, and how bad did things get at that time?
No, things got really bad. But no, never thought of quitting. I was spurred on by certain incidents and certain people.
And now we see a new Hennessy emerging, young Michael Hennessy, talented amateur kid. Tell us about your son, Michael, who's boxing as an amateur.
He's, I love him. I'm so proud of him. I can't tell you. I tried to steer him away from the sport because I know how hard it is. He lives out in the country, and he's not a bad footballer. And I tried to steer him into football, but he was having none of it, really. He really, I mean, without me, I never used to sit down and say, watch this, or in fact, I'd watch fights on my own and keep him away from it. But he'd be on the internet, he'd be watching fights when I weren't there, and he'd be reading. But now he reads it back to front, you know. So, and he keeps coming in and saying, "Has the boxing news come in? Has it come in yet?" Then, so now he tells me things that I'm not aware of, and he's boxing. You know, he's had 10 fights and 1 skills. And when I say he loves it, it's an understatement. He's way more passionate about boxing than I ever was. It's frightening, to be honest. You know, so.
Have you got a promotional deal already for him?
We laugh about this because he keeps saying to me he wants to be a pro, and I've basically told him he can't turn pro, and he's saying when I get to a certain age I can turn pro. I can't stop him apparently. So I've just asked him to concentrate on, you know, have a few amateur dreams, and try and pursue them, and you know, whatever happens, it's a long way to go.
Just one more logistical thing. We mentioned earlier when we were talking in the gym about the Channel 5 deal and the structure. I mean, is how many dates a year do you get on the deal, and what is there any flexibility with it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm roughly doing a show every 6 weeks to 2 months, and there is some flexibility for special events. So we have been looking at potentially doing the odd show on a midweek date. We've got the big Saturday night shows going at the moment with Tyson and James, and there's going to be some in the new year with Barry, young kid Galahad. But we are looking at the potential for maybe doing the odd midweek show. So, but you know, spots on terrestrial TV are precious. So we want to reserve them for fighters. The thing for me at the moment, Tris, is I've built fighters and I've done everything to try and make them stars. And sometimes, if it's not there, it's not there. So even if they can fight like crazy, sometimes, you know, if it's just not there. What I'm interested in now, I've built world champions, and a lot of the time it's sad, but you know, people just don't care. So what I'm interested in doing is building stars. That's where my real buzz for the sport is at the moment. I want to build stars, crossover stars in the UK first and foremost, and then worldwide.
How enthusiastic are you about the job now? You know, you've been through a phenomenal couple of years with ups and downs. I mean, so how enthusiastic are you as we speak now?
Very, very enthusiastic, very excited. I've just come back from Denmark with young Chris Eubank Jr. I mean, that's an experience, you know. It's been with him and his dad and the team, and you know, we had a laugh out there. But that's going to be some roller coaster ride. That is really exciting times. I'm unbelievably excited about James DeGale. I've just said that. Told you for why. Tyson Fury. Well, you know, what can I say? You know, that is a story that's going to just go massive, and really the unsung one at the moment, who I believe is going to be a big star, is young Kid Galahad. I really do. So I couldn't be more excited, because if I look at them four there, they're top quality fighters, but they're very marketable as well. They got something there as well, and I think I can develop them into stars.
All right, Mick, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
Get involved with all the best boxing banter at our forum, and that's forum.boxingnewsonline.net.